What is an Xbar-R chart and how is it calculated? That's what we will discuss in this video. So grab your popcorn and let's get started. What is an Xbar-R chart? Xbar-R charts are control charts used to monitor and control processes by tracking the performance of key variables over time. They help identify trends, shifts, or any unusual patterns that might indicate a problem with the process. Therefore, control charts give important information about the stability of the respective process. Depending on the format in which the data is available, different types of control charts will be used. In this video, we talk about the Xbar-R chart. To understand this, let's first look at an example of an Xbar-R chart. Let's say we work in quality management at a fulfillment center. In a fulfillment center, products are stored, packed, and shipped to customers. The primary purpose of a fulfillment center is to ensure that orders are processed efficiently. Therefore, the stability of this process should be monitored. For this purpose, the time from order receipt to shipment is measured. So our objective is monitor the average processing time to ensure it stays within acceptable limits. Of course, we need data to monitor the process. To obtain data, we take a random sample of 5 orders per day. So at the first day, we measure the processing time of 5 orders. For example, the processing time for the first order was 12 minutes, the processing time for the second order was 14 minutes, and so on and so forth. Similarly, we measure the processing time on the second day, on the third day, and so on. Let's say we measure the times on a total of 25 days. But how do we get an Xbar chart with this data? To do this, we first calculate the mean values of the 5 orders from all 25 days. Now we can create the Xbar chart. To do this, we plot the 25 days on the x-axis and the mean values we just calculated on the y-axis. So we get the first point, the second, the third, and so on and so forth. Now we are almost finished. We only need to calculate these 3 lines. The center line is simply the mean value of all values, so we just calculate the mean value of all points. The red lines are the upper and lower control limits. The upper control limit, UCL, is the threshold above the central line, usually set at 3 standard deviations from the mean. It indicates the upper boundary of the process variation. The lower control limit, LCL, is the threshold below the central line, also set at 3 standard deviations from the mean, and it represents the lower boundary of the process variation. So the UCL is just the overall mean plus 3 sigma, and the lower control limit is the mean minus 3 sigma. Here, sigma is the standard deviation. Okay, but how do we calculate 3 sigma? Here it gets a bit tricky. Instead of using 3 sigma, we are using A2 times R bar. But what is A2? What is R bar? And more importantly, why are we doing this? You might think, let's just use the normal formula for standard deviation. But that approach can be pretty unreliable when you're dealing with small subgroup sizes. For example, in our case, each subgroup only has 5 samples. Each time we have 5 orders, and when we calculate the standard deviation for each subgroup, it tends to vary significantly. That's where the range comes into play. The range is just the difference between the highest and the lowest value in a subgroup. And when we have a small sample size, the range is less sensitive to fluctuations in each subgroup. So let's calculate the range for each sample. For example, on day 1, the lowest value is 12 and the highest is 15, so we get a range of 3. When we have the ranges for each sample, we can calculate the mean of these ranges, R bar. So we have the overall mean, which is 13.38, and we have the mean of the ranges, R bar, which is 3.56. But what about A2? We simply look up the value of A2 in a table. Here n is the subgroup size, so for a sample size of 5 we get an A2 value of 0.577, and with that we can calculate the control limits. We get an upper control limit of 15.44 and a lower control limit of 11.33. But where do these values in the table come from? Researchers found that for any subgroup size n in normally distributed data, there's a consistent relationship between the average range and the true standard deviation. This relationship is represented by the constant A2. So multiplying the average range by A2 gives us a reliable estimate of 3 sigma. And for small subgroups, this method works better than simply computing the standard deviation directly. Now we have the so-called Xbar-R chart. In most cases, the Xbar-R chart is extended by the R chart. As we know, R stands for range. To create the R chart, we simply need the ranges we have just calculated. We can now plot our range values 3, 3, 3, 5 and ending with 3. Okay, but how do we calculate the upper control limit and the lower control limit in this case? You can calculate the control limits using this formula. Here R bar is again the average range, and D3 and D4 are constants that depend on our subgroup size. If you want to create an Xbar-R control chart online with DataTab, simply copy your data into this table and click on Statistical Process Control. Now you only need to select the variables below and you will get an Xbar-R chart. Your data can also be available in such a format. Thanks for watching, I hope you enjoyed the video.